Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk and thank you very much for joining me. Today I am going to be showing you what I've made for the Poodles design team, what my contribution is. And for the month of August there are 4 of us in the design team just for this month, and we've all been asked to use this stamp set, Lovely Stitching, and to make something for every Thursday during August. So stay with me and I will show you how I made this. For the box base, I've got a piece of soft sky card, which is 3 3/8 by 10.5 inches. And for the lid, I've got a piece of card that is 2 3/8 by 10 13/16 of an inch. Now, don't worry about the measurements, because I am going to be putting my notes onto my blog. So all you have to do is go and visit my blog. The link will be underneath this video. So I'm going to score both of them at 1 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to put my cutting blade out of the way. So that's 1 2 3/8 of an inch. And make sure that that's nice and straight. And I'm going to do the same for the lid, 1 3/8 of an inch. So 1 2 3. Make sure that it's straight and score. I want a pattern all over the base of the box, and I'm going to be using this stamp from the Lovely Stitching set today. And I've got it mounted up already on my block, and I've got my soft sky ink, and I have taped my card down onto my bit of glued paper with a piece of post-it tape, because this is going to be the base of the box, and this is going to be the side of the box. So it's going to be facing that way up. The top of the box is closest to me. So if you're doing anything with that's directional, then you've got to remember that you're working on it upside down, as it were, or just simply turn the whole thing around and work on it the right way up. But now I'm going to be stamping all over the box, so I'm going to fast forward this and I'll see you in a bit. Alright, and there we are. I've taped my piece of soft sky card down onto my grid paper so that the lines will help me to stamp straight when I come to do the next bit. And I've got one of the border stamps from the Lovely Stitching set mounted up onto my block, and I've got my Pool Party, sorry, it's not Pool Party, it's Soft Sky ink. And I'm just going to ink up my stamp. And I'm going to do my best to line it up with my grid lines. Now I haven't got any squishy mat, silicone mat or anything underneath. I think even though it's photopolymer, I think I'm going to be okay with this stamp, because we haven't got any large solid areas on this one, and that has stamped very nicely indeed. But certainly with photopolymer, always give yourself a bit of time to allow the ink to transfer. Now again, I'm lining up with my grid paper, and I'm lining up with what I've stamped previously, and I think that is good enough. So I'm going to count 1 2 3 4 5, and there's a little bit of a gap there, but it'll never be noticed on a galloping horse, so we'll call that done. Now I've got the box stamped up, I can go ahead and I can put the rest of the folds in. So for the base, which is the simple bit, I'm going to score at 2 4 6, and I need to put the long arm out, and 8, and finally at 10 inches. More complicated, and I'm going to bring in my notes to help me. And again, just to remind you, I am going to be putting these on my blog, so don't worry about trying to write anything down. Okay, so because I want the lid to fit over the top of the box, we have to allow a little bit of space for the bottom part of the box to fit under the lid, if I'm making sense. So if I was to score this at 2, 4, 6 and 8, the box underneath would bow and buckle. It wouldn't be quite enough room for it. So we are going to be using 1/16 of an inch, and these are these tiny little marks that are just after the longer marks, because there are 16 of them to 1 inch, strangely enough. So I'm looking for the very, very shortest mark on my inch line, and I'm going to start with 2 and 1/16, and I'm going to score. And then I'm going to score at 4 and 1/8. And then it's going to be 6 and 3/16. So that's 6 inches and 1, 2, 3/16. 8 and 1/4, because 4/16 is the same as 1/4, and 10 and 5/16. So I'm just past the 1/4 inch mark there. Okay, and if I've measured this right, I have a little bit left over at the end, which is going to be my fold. This is my gift bag punch board. Now, I've had mine since before Stampin' Up started carrying them, so mine isn't in Stampin' Up colours, as you can very clearly see. It's a neat bit of kit. I'm going to take the onboard folding tool out of the way. Now, I work on a very flexible table, although it looks very, very solid. It's actually a picnic table. This is a bit of wallpaper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'll probably fast forward the actual doing of it, so that you don't get too much what I like to call bouncage. Okay, so I'm going to work on the folds that I put in to the card. I just bend the card lightly so that you can see them. And my first punch is going to be against the very, very edge of the card here. The bit that hasn't got the stamping on, that goes towards the top of the punch, and it's butted right up inside the edge there. That distance is 1 3/8 of an inch. So whenever you're using the gift punch board, the base of it is always 1 3/8 of an inch. Okay, right, so I'm going to line my edge up with this little pointer here, and there's where it says start line, and I'm just going to press down and punch. I'm going to bring it a bit closer to me so I've got more control, and I'm going to punch. And then I'm going to line up the first fold with the pointer and the start line. I'm going to punch, and I'm going to do that right the way across this piece of card, and I'm going to do the same thing for the box lid. I'm going to clear away the dreck. So now I've got to the end, and I've got this weird shaped bit here. So I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to snip that away. And I'm going to bring in my onboard folder, and I'm just going to crease up those folds. I'm going to go and do exactly the same for the box lid. So to assemble my box base, I have my fast fuse, and I'm just going to put it on this skinny tab here and flick, and I'm just going to join up my edges together. As you can see, it's got a lovely five-sided shape. So to put it all together, I'm going to start here and I'm going to fold that one in. Then I'm going to fold that one on top of it, and then that one on top, and then that one on top. Now the last one is going to be tricky because it's got to go on top of that one but under that one. So I'm going to, it is a little bit fiddly, I will warn you of that now. So I'm holding that one up with my finger. This is the way I found to do it, and I'm just kind of slipping that one underneath, and there you go. There's your box. Now if I put anything heavy in that, as it stands at the moment, it will just all fall out through the bottom, and for some reason there's a little gap in the centre there. I don't know why that is, but it doesn't matter, because what we're going to do is going to take another little scrap of soft sky card, and I've got my 2-inch circle punch, and I have just punched myself out a circle of the card, and I'm going to be generous with the fast fuse in this piece. And I'm just going to make sure my box is the shape I want it to be, and push that into the bottom as centrally as I can and squish it down. And there's my box base. So I'm going to assemble the top of my box the same way. I've got some fast fuse, and I'm just going to run a little bit of fast fuse just along that tab there, bring those together, and I'm just going to fold my pieces over. So I'm going to start with that one, and then fold that on top of it, that on top of it, that on top of it. This is the tricky one because it's got to go under, over that one but under this one, so we have to do a bit of slotting in and card wrangling. And there you go, there is the top of my box. Now to make it stay in place, I've got a 2-inch circle of the soft sky card, and I'm just going to put a few pieces of, whoops, I didn't flick that off very well, a fast fuse inside it, and then that sits into the top, just like that. There you go. I want some ribbon roses to go on top of my box, and I've already made 2, and I'm just going to make the 3rd now. So I've got a length of Peekaboo Peach ruched ribbon, which was about something like 18 inches, 2 feet long, and I've tied a knot at that end, a knot at that end, and then a series of loose knots, just an overhand knot over the top. And now I'm just going to roll up my ribbon around itself, just as if I was rolling up a paper spiral flower. And I do enjoy making, making flowers, making roses, and the various different ways in which you can make a flower embellishment to go on your cards. I really like it, and I'm thinking about making a tutorial just on some of the different ways there are of making flowers, paper roses, ribbon roses, whatever, to go on your card. So if you'd like to see that, please do leave me a comment below. Okay, so I've had a fiddle with that, and I think I'm quite happy with the shape. So I've got my glue gun. Actually, it's a Bosch glue pen. Somebody was asking me about this the other day, and it's a bit more expensive than the usual craft ones that you find, but I do find that it was definitely worth the extra money because it heats up really, really quickly, and of course it's cordless, it's battery operated, and it works a treat. Okay, and I am not sponsored in any way, shape or form by Bosch. Okay, so I've got some little hairy bits sticking out there, some bits where the ribbons come unravelled a bit, so I'm just going to trim those off. And if you're ever using hot glue, by the way, and you get stringy bits, if you let it all cool down and then waft it afterwards with a hairdryer, that will get rid of those. So now I have 3 of my ribbon roses, and this is a bit of the Emerald Envy. So we'll have a bit of foliage on the back of this one. I'll try and avoid sticking my fingers in the hot glue because they are not made of asbestos. Okay. So 2-inch circle of the soft sky, and I shall arrange my roses, and I think I'll have some foliage on this one as well. So I'm just cutting myself a scrap of Emerald Envy ribbon, and I'm just going to fold it and trim the end there. So I've got 2 nice little points. Flip that over, touch of the hot glue, I'm going to turn the gun off. It will switch itself off if you leave it alone for a while to help save the battery, but if you can remember to do it, then that's always good. Okay, so let's arrange my roses on my, actually turn it back on again. Arrange my roses on my piece of soft sky here. And again, if I didn't have the hot glue gun out, I would probably use a wet glue, but do you know what, since it's here, I may as well use it. I'm just squishing those into that big puddle of hot glue that I just made there. So now I have my box base and my box lid. Moment of truth, do they fit? Yes, they do. There is the finished box. Now, I should have said right at the very beginning, and I didn't, because I got carried away in the heat of the moment, that the idea for this shape of box came from a lady named Claudia Christensen, who posted it on Facebook, and a link to her tutorial, and I will put the link below if you want to go and have a look at it. Claudia is in German and works in centimeters, so I've done it in inches for you. I think it's a lovely little shape. I really do like that five-sided shape. I think it's quite unusual, and I hope you agree. And if you've liked this tutorial, then please do give me a thumbs up, give me a comment. If you've really liked it, think about subscribing to my channel. If you want to see more of what I've been doing, then please do come back again soon, because I will be posting more videos very, very soon. But for now, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.